now we want to talk about campus outreach.
Okay.
So, you're on staff for campus outreach right now, but you weren't always on staff, Miss Cooper Gamble.
I was not.
So, talk to me a little bit about how you got in contact with campus outreach as a student, and then talk about your experience as a student with campus outreach, concluding with when you finally made the decision to come on staff.
Okay. I'll try to condense the story as possible.
Well, you don't have to.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So came to GW, lived on Mitchell Hall, which is the 5th floor, which is the best floor. That's literally most of the people I still talk to and hang out with. We all came from that floor. But my friend used to be Sasha Paul, who is now Sasha Bishop. She lived on that floor. She, me, and another girl named Corinne actually went to a party together that weekend, and that's how we learned we all were Christians. Which, looking back, I'm like, yeah, I don't think we were Christians. We weren't. But anyway, I digress. Or I was a Christian, but I was like wilding out. But anyway, I learned that we all said that we were Christians, so we were like, oh, okay, great. And Sasha mentioned that her sister Visha is a part of campus outreach. And I was like, oh, I'm late for a Christian org, because I was like, I want to get plugged into and everything, just because youth group, all that stuff back at church. I was like, oh, I need one here too. That just makes logical sense. And one of my goals was in college to be able to read my Bible and understand it. That's just all I wanted, honestly. So came to a campus outreach event with her in Thurston Hall, Thurston, in the piano lounge. That's what we called it.
Oh my gosh.
Freshman, that was the freshman place to hang out. I won't say anymore.
Okay.
But we went to the piano lounge, and that's like when we learned, I think Owen was leading a talk on who is Jesus. And I remember being struck by A, just his passion for the love of Christ, and B, just everything he went into talking about who is Jesus and how the gospel was just so clear in that. And I was like, whoa, wait, what? I've never heard someone speak so passionately about God's word and then use God's word to even add fire or fuel up this flame of love for Christ. And I was like, who are these people, basically? But of course, predominantly the room was white, and GW had other Christian orgs that had people who were black. So I was like, actually, I'm not sure if this is for me. Especially, I don't know, just some of the music they were playing back then and different things of that nature. I was like, yeah, I don't know that song. Different things. I was just like, actually, I'm going to deuce out. This was nice. And then a woman named Katie Yale stopped me. Literally came in front of me at the door.
Where are you going?
No, literally. She's like, hey, what's your name? And I was like,
I gotcha.
No, literally, I'm like, I'm Kayla. And she we were talking and stuff, and she was really nice. I was like, okay, she's really nice, but I really want to leave. And she asked me for my number, and you're a freshman, you don't know anyone, so I gave her my number. And then she wanted to meet up for coffee the next day. That was when I did drink coffee. So we met for coffee, and we're just talking about God's word and everything of that nature. And then she brought me to CHBC for the first time, which was such a different experience for me. I'm very used to a traditional Black missionary Baptist church. So going to CHBC, which is way more traditional Reformed theology, very, very different than what I'm used to. But the gospel was at the center of everything. So Mark Dever's sermon, if I could put fire emojis around him, that's how it was. And I felt it was just so alarming in a good way to me. I was like, whoa, this guy is speaking from God's word. And I just loved the expositional preaching. That was very different for me to experience, because I was used to way more topical preaching, which is good. Also exposition, I just felt my heart just softening so many layers. I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. So from there, got to a Bible study with Kristen Showalter, and that kind of evolved the whole Bible study aspect. And then my sophomore year, it was discipleship group, and I was like, whoa, wait, okay. So the idea of discipleship was new for me. And learning the 5-finger diagram, she loved that. So
And what are the 5 fingers, just so we know?
The 5 fingers are hearing.
Mm-hmm. Meditate.
I think meditate's like the thumb.
Hearing. Meditate, study.
Memorize.
And the final one, the foundational one, read.
Hearing, read. Oh, that's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I'm on staff. My bad, y'all.
You're good.
But yeah, so learning that was really eye-opening to me because my main thing was hearing and studying like God's word, particularly studying and like reading, like those 3 like fingers. I was like, I want that. And then meditating and memorizing like came later on. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is what needs to happen. So
steadily going deeper.
So that was like sophomore year. Then throughout that time, junior year, went abroad. That was like a real like test for me. Like, can I actually keep up with just spiritual disciplines that have been laid before me by myself throughout that time? And it was, at first it was hard and I wasn't really doing them. And I was like, I need accountability. So I was already like hanging out with one of the girls in the Christian org. But then I was like, hey, can we just like meet up once a week in a coffee shop and just talk?
Back when you were still drinking coffee.
Yes, exactly. But I was transitioning to tea because in England, tea is like the go-to thing. Okay. So I was like, all right, cool. I like tea. Let's go. So we would have tea and then we would eat some sort of sweet with it. So yeah, from there, senior year, it was like discipling and equipping and stuff like that. And I saw I had a real heart for that. In general, beforehand, I had like Bible studies, but intentionally, I was discipling like 3 different girls on top of everything else I was doing. And I just had a really big heart and desire for them to know the gospel and for them to pour into others and for them to keep Jesus as the center of their lives and to glorify God in everything that they do. And I just like had a real big heart for it.